Welcome to Founder Voice Podcast, the space for bold, empowering, raw, and unfiltered conversations about business, relationships, and everything that makes us fierce. No filters, no fluff, just real talk. Season 2 is here and we're going even deeper. Get ready to own your voice, break barriers, and step into your power unapologetically. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, we're back with Found Her Voice Podcast. I am your host, Valerie. If you are new here, welcome. I'm a business strategist. I love creating content. I love sitting down with women, entrepreneurs, and just talking about their business. That's just me and what I do. And of course, let's talk about this tea. Me versus me. I'm only in competition with me. Okay? So, every week I'm showing you guys a new shirt. It's over on the website, foundhercircle.com. Go check it out. If you're a woman entrepreneur, go ahead and look at the website. Go ahead and get into that group. Go ahead and follow those pages, ladies, because we need to connect, right? So, of course, I love this shirt, me versus me. I'm only in competition with myself. And I have this other shirt. I'm just going to show you, because this is what I do. It says, she overcame everything that was meant to destroy her. I'm sure a lot of you ladies can relate to that, right? And then on the back of it, it says, pow, her, full, right? Because we love her. Everything's her. You gotta put that her in there. So, here this is. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. And then here's the back. The backy back. I love this shirt. I can't wait to wear it. So there again, I'm sure a lot of you can relate because us women, we just go through it, right? And then, we're strong, so we overcome everything that we go through. And it's just part of it, right? So if you need one of those teas, which you do, go on over there to the website, get yours today. Go ahead and order it, okay? All right, so today we're going to talk about back to school. Do you have more free time now, or are you doing the homeschooling hustle? Let's get into it, ladies. So, the backpacks are full, the buses are rolling, and moms everywhere are now maybe a little relief because the kids are back in school, right? Now they can breathe. I love that for each and every one of you that have kids that are going back to school. But unfortunately, there's a lot of moms out here that still have kids at home. Or maybe you're doing the homeschooling thing, right? Oh, like me, huh? It's been a crazy 2 weeks. I'm trying to get everything scheduled. I'm trying to, print out all the lesson plans for the week on Sunday night and just make the schedule. But it's hard. It is hard. So we will get to that, right? Let's talk about the relatable moments, right? So, if you have kids that are getting up to go to school, that morning chaos, right? I could only imagine what you moms are going through. First, trying to get these kids up because they say that, the older they get, the harder they are to wake up. I don't know. Mine's only 5 right now. But, and then trying to feed them, making sure the backpack's packed, maybe their lunch is packed, making sure they're dressed, they brush their teeth, they're getting on the school bus, or maybe you take them to school. How is that school line, the drop-off line? Oh my goodness. I know a couple weeks ago, I took the kids to a little splash pad. They rerouted the pickup line, drop-off line through the park here in Frankfurt to pick up, drop off your kids. And I seen this line and I was like, what is going on? Because, I didn't know. And all these cars, started coming through the park. And I was like, I look at the clock and I was like, oh, they're picking up their kids and they're just going this way now. And I was like, man, that would just suck sitting in that line for like 30 minutes trying to pick up your kid, right? But more power to you is all I can say. More power to you. And then, of course, do you have quiet moments now? Now that the kids are gone to school, you can actually drink your coffee hot. Oh, praise the Lord. Goodness gracious. I can't tell you how many times I put my coffee in the microwave, because I want it real hot. And 9 times out of 10, I forget about it because I'm so busy doing everything else. And then a couple hours later, I'll be like, man, I need to go fix me a cup of coffee. Well, when I fix a cup of coffee and then, I have to put my bougie creamer in there and I pour it in there, well, then I have to heat it up for another 30 seconds because I need it real hot. And here I am getting ready to open the microwave and put that cup of coffee in there. And I'm like, oh, that's where my coffee is. Duh, right? So if you mamas are getting to drink that hot coffee now, the whole cup, I love it. That is great. You need to do more of that, of course, right? And then do you feel guilty because, you have that quiet time now? I would say that you should not feel guilty. You should be taking a nap, okay? It's okay to take a nap. I'm going to tell you that. And just doing, what needs to be done, of course, but make sure that you are carving out that time for you now. Because, I'm sure summer was chaotic with the kids being home, fixing 3 meals a day, fixing 100 snacks a day, right? This is your time now. So just relax and enjoy it, right? And I can just say that looking at the homeschooling side of it, like, you want to know why. Why do people homeschool their kids? Well, that's what they choose to do. There's not a right and there's not a wrong. I know I do it because I don't believe that kids need to be sitting in school for, 6.5 hours a day, especially when they are little and especially when they are boys. Like, they love the outdoors. They love getting out in that mud. They love playing in the dirt. So why tie them down to a desk and make them sit there and learn the stuff that they can actually just learn in like an hour and a half a day, if that? I mean, it depends on, your lesson and what you have picked out for them. But I know Sawyer, since this week was a holiday week, like, he has 4 pages to do instead of 2 now, because he was just doing 2. Because, I'm taking it easy. So I do 2 for the first month and then bump it up, double it every month. But since it was a holiday week, then he has 4 pages to do. And poor little guy, he was like, I did my 2. I'm done. I'm like, well, if you did not remember, Monday was a holiday. You did not work on these worksheets. So now you have 4 worksheets every day. Because, we take Fridays off. He's like, no, I only have 2. So we had to sit there and discuss that for, like 30 minutes. And I was just like, dude, if you would just do the 4 worksheets, like, we would already be done. Like, this is simple stuff, buddy. And, he's just like, oh, I don't want to do it. And, finally I'm like, okay, well, let's just go outside and do it. Okay, we'll go outside and do it. So we go outside, we sit on the swing, and we're doing the first 2 pages. Well, here comes sis, and she's just like all up in his business. God love her. And she's like, saw you do him homework later. He play with me now. And I'm like, no, he is not going to do his homework later, and he's not playing with you right now. So go play. And then she brings the ball over there, and she's like, Sawyer, you play ball with me? Come on, Sawyer. I'm like, no, little girl, we are not doing this. Like, no, you can play ball later, okay? I promise, sis, you can play ball later. And Sawyer, being as smart as he is, he goes, Mama. I'm like, what? He goes, I got an idea. I said, okay, what's your idea, buddy? He goes, I sit on the swing and I can move my leg back and forth so I can kick the ball and I can listen to you and do my homework. I said, well, you're pretty smart on that one, but you're not kicking the ball, so let's go. So anyway, we got through 3 pages of homework, and, I said, we'll do the next one tomorrow. So, I love homeschooling, just because he doesn't have to sit in a classroom that long. I love that, he can go outside and he can learn about things outside and he gets to play while he's learning. And I love that I made Friday's Field Trip Friday. So, every Friday, as long as all of his assignments are done, then we go somewhere on Friday. And it's kind of like, you may go to the park or something, or you may go here or there, wherever I choose. And he's still learning something. That's what I love about it, right? And you guys see these bugs flying around because, I'm just sitting outside because everyone is asleep in my house because, Valerie, she just does the podcast whenever she can, wherever she can at this point, right? So yeah, there's bugs because of course they like the lights, right? So I'm trying to get the bugs, right? This is just how it is in my life, right? You can only record podcasts when everybody goes to sleep in this house. And then sometimes the dogs decide that they need to get up and run around. So I'm like, okay, let me just go set up shop outside and then they won't bother me, right? Was I thinking about the lights? No, I was not thinking about the lights, but that's okay. So moving on. So this is why I homeschool. I know a lot of parents homeschool because of, religious beliefs and the school systems not being what they used to be and so forth. And that is fine. I'm just saying that, school is kind of like programming and they think that it's one size fits all. But unfortunately, that's not true, right? All kids are different. All kids learn differently. And so I just think that if you can homeschool, do it. But if you cannot, I completely understand. Okay? And I know that kids that are homeschooled, they have more freedom on their hands. And I know also that there's a lot of people that say, oh, well, if you homeschool, then your kids aren't going to have social skills. Well, I think that is just up in the air on the kid, technically, because, there's a lot of kids that I meet that are around Sawyer's age that, it's kind of like they have to warm up to you before, they have anything to do with you. So, and those kids, I say that because those kids may be like in preschool or pre-K already. But then, my favorite part about homeschooling is, yes, you should have a set routine, I feel like. But, kids just, sometimes they get bored with what they're doing. So you have to redirect them, right? And I know as an adult, I get bored doing things, right? And I'm like, screw this, I'm going on to something else, right? I'll come back to that later. And so I love that because Sawyer can sit down and he can be watching a video, learning about something, and then if he gets halfway through and says, I don't like this, okay, well, we'll go find a different video to watch, no big deal. But if he's sitting in a classroom, then he's responsible for watching that whole video, right? Like, you have to do that. No, we're not doing that over here. And we're doing all the fun stuff because who doesn't want to have fun, right? So, what do they get in school? Do they get like a recess or something in elementary? So, okay, you get one recess? Valerie's over here like, nope, we're having 5 recesses today. Actually, we're going to do from noon to 7 p.m. is recess. Let's go. But it's fine. It is fine. And, all the things that I am getting to teach him. And of course, you learn things as you go. Well, it's not that you really learn it. It's kind of like you learned it and then you forgot it. So you have to relearn it, right? You're like, oh, yeah, I learned that when I was little too, many, 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 many years ago, right? So I just love it. I love it. I love homeschooling, y'all. I didn't think I would, and I'm still not, the best at keeping the schedule like I want, but I'm learning. I am learning, and that's all that matters, right? It's just crazy because when I'm sitting down and I'm blocking out these hours or, an hour here and an hour there to go through all the homework, that kind of makes me not able to do other things because, of course, I sit down and I'm just concentrating on what he's doing. So I really want to talk about that because, before you may have just let your kids do whatever and you had time to cook and do the laundry and pick up and do all the things, right? Now that I'm having to plan lessons because, I'm over here being a teacher now. Plus, trying to work on this website. We ain't even going to talk about that. No, Valerie's just on this website all the time, just doing the things, right? Unnecessary things, I think, is what that is. But, that's part of being a business owner. And I'm like, Megan, I really need to work on this. I need to get this uploaded. I need to switch this out. And I'm like, I don't have time to do certain things that I used to do, right? So, that's where the man comes in at. You have to be hey, I had to do this and this, so you're going to have to do this and this, right? So you just have to set those boundaries. You have to, come together and communicate with your partner and, just tell them what you need pretty much because it's like a full-time job being a mom, right? Actually, it's not a full-time job. It's 2 full-time jobs, right? You work around the clock and then you're doing all the things on top of it. Goodness gracious, who gets a break here? Because I know I don't. But, that's part of it. That's part of it. They're not going to be little forever. So you just have to roll with it, ladies. Roll with it. Now, moms, I want to talk to you that have kids in school, okay? So I want to know, what are you actually doing with your free time? Are you doing more self-care? Are you just cooking and cleaning and, having a clean house now? Are you looking to start a business? Have you already started a business and you're actually working in that now? Or are you doing some fun hobby? Tell me. Comment down below. Tell me what you're doing because I want to know, right? I feel I wish, but, things happen. I wish I would have started my business before I had kids. And then I would be so much further into the business, right? But, it's all in God's timing. It's all in God's timing, so it's all okay. He knows when things are going to happen and he makes them happen. So me, I just have to sit over here and I just have to do what he directs me to do. You get that calling up, hey, you need to start a business. So you start the business. You know why you need to start the business? You all have a why you started the business. And I love talking to women about their why, right? Because us women can relate on so many levels that we don't even think of, right? So I love that. And if you are starting a business, I am just so excited for you. Yes, I am. If you need help with anything, reach out to me. This is what I'm here for. This is what I have this whole circle of women entrepreneurs for. So If you want to go down a certain path or you need help with a certain thing, just reach out to me. I will help you, or I will direct you to the right person that can help you. Okay? Because we are all here to help women, right? We want to connect, we want to empower, and we want to thrive in our businesses. If you have time to spend an extra little time on that self-care, do it. Do it. I always say now, like, you can't spend enough time on self-care. Used to it would be like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I got 2 new babies. I just don't have time. And then they're getting a little older and you're like, I still don't have time. They're like, one's still nursing and one's trying to walk, or one's already walking and he's into everything and climbing around like a monkey, right? I just don't have time. And then, he grows up a little more and then she comes into that monkey climbing everything everywhere stage and you're like, I don't have time. And then they get to that stage where, hey, they can actually do some things on their own. And you're like, oh, well, I can go spend 5 minutes here doing this, or I could do this, and then you come back and there might be a little mess or two, right? But that's part of it. And when I say a mess or two, like, I have to tell you this funny story. Somehow, I don't know how, but this little girl got a red marker, okay? I still don't know where this red marker is. I'm yet to find it. I know she has it hid. But she drew on the back of the, like, behind the couch cushion. So she drew back there. And I thought she was just sitting behind the cushion. So I didn't question her about what she was doing. And then later, I go to walk over there. Oh no, there's like writing on the back of the couch. And I'm like, what is this? Like, where is this marker? You don't do this. She said, Mama, I drew you heart. I drew you heart. And I was like, you drew me a heart? She's like, Mama, I love you. I said, oh my God. I'm so sorry, sis. I did not know. And then she gets up and she points to it. She's like, it's a heart, Mommy. It's a heart. And I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But here's the thing. We don't draw hearts on the furniture, okay? She's like, okay. And I said, can we clean it up? She said, okay, Mommy. So she gets the spray and she's just spraying the couch and she's just rubbing, and then I go back and I clean it up, right? And then I go to sit down at my laptop yesterday and I turn and I look at one of the chairs. And there's a big old line down the chair, red marker. It's like, oh, I'm going to find that red marker, right? So then I said, Sawyer, did you mark on this chair? No. Hattie Mae did that. I was like, that's what I thought. So I said, Sissy, come here. I said, what is this over here on this chair? You see this red mark right here? She said, uh-huh. I said, why did you mark on this chair? And she said, Mama, it's a heart. It's a heart. I'm like, sis, because, we always do this, right? We always do this. And I'm like, sis, the heart is like this. This is a line. She said, no, Mama, it's a heart. I drew you heart. I love you, Mommy. I was like, And what can you do? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of you guys out there that says, you should have whooped her, or you should have did this or that. But you know what? I'm that mom that if you drew me a heart, I can't whoop you. I cannot do that. I can't put you in timeout. I just can't do it. No. That little girl drew me a heart. And if you're probably looking at my nails, you see one nail is painted white. That is because of sis. Yeah. So I had the red nail polish out, and then she decides that I need a white nail. And she wanted to paint it. So I said, okay, if I let you paint one white, then I get to paint the rest. She's like, okay, Mommy. And of course, she had it everywhere, but I went back and cleaned it up. And I was like, I can't change that one nail. Like, she painted my nail for me. She's the sweetest little thing. But she's sassy too, right? So Mamas, if you get a chance to get more self-care in there, do it. Do it. Do it. Okay? And do not feel guilty about it. I'm just saying, don't do it. I want to talk about, filling calendars, sporting events, and all the things, right? Because I know, some kids are really big into sports. And it's what? Football season right now? So you have these little guys going out for football, and then, it's going to be basketball, and then you got the cheerleaders and all the stuff, right? Now, I need to talk to the homeschooling mamas because I need to know, what are you guys doing for these activities? I'm in those homeschooling groups and stuff. So I see, there's some things that are going on during the day for homeschooling kids, which I love that. I need to go check those calendars because it seems like when I see these calendars, I'm just running through Facebook real quick or doing something, and then a post pops up and it says homeschooling, and then it have some calendar or something, and I'm like, oh, maybe Sawyer can do that. Maybe Sawyer can do this. Whatever. So I'm just wondering, are you guys filling those calendars with just sports and stuff, or are you setting up, the holidays and everything like that? Drop a comment and let me know what you're doing. I need to know, what needs to be on my calendar. Okay? That's what I need to know. How are you guys balancing the whole, motherhood and your goals? I feel like it's hard some days, and some days are harder than others. You just have to realize that, you're only one person. You can't do it all. So you have to, set those boundaries. You only do what you can do. Don't feel guilty for not being able to do something, right? We shouldn't have to do it all. We wasn't put on this earth to do everything. I know there's some moms on here that are single and you feel like you have to do it all, or you do have to do it all. And I completely understand that. But I also know that you either have one family member or one friend. And I say that because I feel like so many of us women are so prideful and we think that we can do everything. And 9 times out of 10 we can because we're strong like that. But if you have those friends, if you have that family, lean on them. Let them help you. Or just set 1 or 2 days out of the week, just a couple hours, and just plan something so that, the kids can go there and then you can have that little bit of break because we all need it. We do. Because let me tell you, sometimes in this house, you have the 3-year-old screaming, you have the 5-year-old screaming at the 3-year-old because, she took his tractor or something, and, all hell breaks loose. And you just really want to pull your hair out at that moment. And, you tell him, stop screaming. We don't scream in the house. You want to scream, go outside. And you do that 3 or 4 or 5 times, and they still are not listening. So then you have to raise your voice. And if you're like me, you have to really raise your voice because they just won't listen to, when I'm using this tone. And it's because their little system is just ah, right? And they need to calm it down. So, you gotta get them focused on you. And then you gotta do those little breathing exercises and get them calm back down and regulate their system, right? It's crazy sometimes. If you can do it all, more power to you. But if you don't have to, don't do it, okay? Lean on your circle. And if you don't have a circle, then you need to get out and you need to, meet some people and create that circle, honey. You do. I'm just saying, okay? So, that is it for today. Make sure that you go to YouTube, you like, you comment, you subscribe, you share, do all the things that Valerie needs you to do. Show me some love. And if you need me to show you some love, just contact me. You know where to find me. And of course, let's talk about next week. I'm going to be having a guest. Actually, I'm going to go to his studio. Yes, I said he. So, I've been getting emails of women with relationship problems, okay? Or they're having problems finding a man, right? These men out here today, they're like on a different level. Like, I don't even know where they came from. I really don't. I really think that they came from Mars. I put a call out and I was like, hey, let's talk about men and let's talk about, what a man expects or wants from a woman when he first meets her for this to turn into a relationship, right? So next week, I'm going to have Tony on the podcast. And, if you guys have questions, you better be getting those questions in for Tony, because I'm sure that episode is going to be real good. You guys are going to get to listen to what men think, right? What men think when they first meet a woman, right? Because it's hard telling what they're thinking. And Tony, he already broke it down for me. And I was like, yes, this is why you need to be on the podcast. My girls are having some problems, some of my girls. And, he met one of them and they had a full-blown conversation. And I was like, well, that's that right there. Exactly what you told her is what you need to get on the podcast. And you need to tell my women, right? Because I'm tired of you women going out here and you wasting your time on these men that aren't even real men. I'm going to say they aren't real men. I mean, damn. These men want to meet you. They want to have you pay for your stuff and they pay for their stuff. And we're going to get into all that next episode. So until next time, I will see you then. Thank you for being here, showing your girls some love. Make sure you share. And if you're a woman entrepreneur, go find Found Her Circle on all the socials. Follow us. Get into the group on Facebook so we can connect. And of course, if you have a certain topic that you want discussed on Found Her Voice podcast, just send me an email. So it's foundhervoice@foundhercircle.com. Okay? Until next time, ladies, I love ya and I'll see you later. Also, make sure you check out the sponsors right after this. If you need a new website or a logo design, Cam's your girl. If you are anywhere around the Lexington, Richmond, on down to Southern Kentucky, and you're looking for a master hairstylist, Lincoln is your girl. Plus, she's bougie, and she loves dealing with blondies, platinum, right? So, of course, Valerie has to go to her because, you want to keep that blonde soft and not fried, right? You want to make sure that hair looks good. Yep. So, get a hold of those two ladies if you need anything. If you need me, you know where to find me. Email me, find me on the socials. Let's connect. Let's dive into your business. Let's have you as a guest on the podcast. I don't know. Whatever you ladies want to do, let's do it. I'm down. And of course, find you a good red lipstick. If you need, a list, contact me. And go out and buy yourself some heels this weekend. It'll make you feel good. Put on your lipstick. Put you on something cute. Put your shoes on. I say shoes because There's some of these girls that say, Valerie, I don't wear heels. And I love that for you. If you don't wear heels, that's fine. You don't have to wear heels. I'm just saying I do because, it makes my legs look better, I feel like. That's just me. It's me. Okay? Till next time, I will see you then. Peace.
It's your time to grow. Get started with Little Pot Design Studio today.